Gabriel Slonina speaks on his move to Chelsea. Chelsea signed Gabriel Slonina from Chicago Town this summer, and the player has recently been speaking about his excitement for the move. Chelsea signed Gabriel Slonina this summer, and the American goalkeeper is certainly one for the future. Slonina is a young up-and-coming goalkeeper, from a league English clubs never usually take a chance in. There is certainly talent in the MLS, and Slonina, currently back on loan at Chicago Fire until December, will be keen to prove that. The player has recently been speaking of his excitement and desire about playing for Chelsea and experiencing the Premier League. "I'm super excited just to be in that environment and see what it's like in the Premier League. How the coach acts when we win or lose, what's the locker room look like. Just that level of pressure, I can't wait to be in there and be in that environment." The experience for Slonina will be something different than what he's handled in America, but the youngster is keen to see if he can learn and thrive in that environment. A manager like Graham Potter will be perfect for him, and it will be interesting to see in January if he has any chance of immediately aiming for that number one spot. Brad Friedel doesn't think so, but time will tell. "Chelsea, I can't wait. I'm super excited to be in that world and see what it's like in Premier League. The path that they showed me and presented me while I was talking to them was something I really liked. And it's Chelsea, so it was a no-brainer." Liverpool may rival Chelsea for Moises Caicedo signing. Chelsea registered their interest for Moises Caicedo in the final days of the summer transfer window, and Liverpool may rival them for the player. Moises Caicedo is a player who was largely unknown 2 years ago. His name came to mainstream media when Manchester United were linked with him, and then again when he finally signed for Brighton. Graham Potter signed him for the club, and obviously rates the player very highly, as he should. Caicedo is everything you would want in a midfielder, and Potter may be interested in bringing him to Stamford Bridge. The Chelsea manager, however, may face competition from Liverpool. According to Football Insider, Liverpool are plotting to rival Chelsea for the signing of Moises Caicedo in the coming months. Both teams are in search of a new midfielder, and Caicedo happens to be a player that fits both of their playing styles. The Ecuadorian is tenacious, aggressive and hugely talented on the ball, something that both Jurgen Klopp and Graham Potter value in a player. Both clubs registered an interest late on in the summer window, but Liverpool opted for Arthur from Juventus as a stopgap signing as well. Caicedo himself is a big Manchester United fan, and Erik ten Hag's side could possibly be a dark horse in the race for the player. The midfielder regularly likes the club's social media posts, and has publicly spoken of his desire to join the club. It will be a battle for Caicedo, but Graham Potter's relationship with the player may in the end prove pivotal in the race. Trevoh Chalobah could leave Chelsea in January. Trevoh Chalobah could leave Chelsea in January if he does not start to get more game time. Trevoh Chalobah has been linked with a move away from Chelsea in recent times, and that may be about to become a reality if his situation doesn't change before January. The defender has struggled for game time recently, and with Chelsea signing 2 defenders for big money this summer and looking to buy a third in Josko Gvardiol or Milan Skriniar, Chalobah feels his future could lie elsewhere. Things could change between now and January, but at the moment, Trevoh Chalobah is likely to leave. According to Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea defender Trevoh Chalobah could leave Chelsea in January if the situation surrounding his game time does not change. The defender has seen limited game time this season and for some parts of last season, and could look elsewhere for what he wants. Chalobah broke into the first team under Thomas Tuchel last season, but fell out of favour. Things could change under Graham Potter, but that is unlikely to happen. Chelsea contemplated letting the defender leave in the summer, but in the end decided against it. RB Leipzig and AC Milan had an interest in the player, but nothing materialised. Jose Mourinho is interested in bringing Chalobah to Roma, and that could be an interesting prospect for the young man. Things could change between now and January, but the likelihood at the moment leans towards Trevoh Chalobah leaving the club rather than staying at the club. Chelsea tried to hijack Richarlison's move to Tottenham Hotspur. Chelsea tried to hijack Tottenham Hotspur's move for Richarlison in the very last moments. Antonio Conte's side won the race for Everton centre-forward Richarlison in the end, and he has settled in quite well at Spurs, scoring 2 Champions League goals already. Things could have been different, however, and Richarlison could have been playing for the blue half of London instead of the lily-white side if Chelsea had have completed their last-minute hijack attempt for the Brazilian. Richarlison touched on Chelsea's interest yesterday, but it has now been confirmed that the club attempted to steal the player from Tottenham's grasps in the late stages. According to Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea tried to hijack Tottenham Hotspur's signing of Richarlison. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Fabrizio had this to say about Chelsea's late attempt at the signing. Chelsea made a bid for Richarlison during the night before his medical tests with Tottenham, made in Brazil. Richarlison had already an agreement with Spurs and same on club's side, but Chelsea wanted to hijack the deal. The hijack was obviously unsuccessful as Richarlison signed for Spurs, but perhaps he could have been the main man at Chelsea, something he won't be at Spurs with Harry Kane there. If Chelsea had have been more serious from the beginning and made a bid earlier, they may have got their man. But Richarlison alluded to the fact Spurs wasted no time in putting the money up for him straight away in the summer, stating the club were the only ones who put the money up. Romelu Lukaku is not planning on coming back to Chelsea. Romelu Lukaku is currently on loan at Inter Milan, and does not want to return to Chelsea. The story of Romelu Lukaku's return to Chelsea will always be a bitter one for the fans to swallow. So much potential and hope, especially after the start to the season he had in those first few games. But it all fell by the wayside, and ended up being a reunion from hell for both the club and the Belgian striker. Lukaku is currently on loan at Inter, and is not planning on returning to Chelsea. The player is on a one-year loan deal, but that can and may be extended. According to Fabrizio Romano, Romelu Lukaku is not even contemplating returning to Chelsea anytime soon. The player is fully focused on his career in Milan, and does not at the moment have any plans to return to Chelsea. The one-year loan deal that Lukaku is on could be extended, and it is already being discussed. The striker is more or less done at Chelsea, and barring any sort of miracle, will likely never play for the club again. It was a tough ending for both player and fan, especially for a player who came through the academy. But Chelsea and Lukaku have had problems since the infamous Inter Milan interview, and for both parties a clean break is beneficial. Chelsea replaced Lukaku with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and hoping the Gambian will have the tools to fire them into the top four this season. Chelsea's midfield priority is Edson Alvarez from Ajax. Chelsea's midfield priority at the moment is the Ajax midfielder Edson Alvarez, who they nearly signed in the summer. Chelsea had a bid worth £50 million rejected from Mexico and Ajax midfielder Edson Alvarez in the final days of the summer transfer window, but he remains their priority for the midfield position at the moment. Alvarez desperately pushed for the move to Chelsea in the summer, but Ajax, having already lost a huge bulk of their squad to teams like Manchester United and Bayern Munich, would not let the player leave so close to the end of the window. Chelsea still have him on their radar, and are expected to pursue him in January. According to Ben Jacobs of CBS Sports, Chelsea's midfield priority at the moment remains Ajax midfielder Edson Alvarez. Alvarez really wanted the move in the final 2 days of the summer window, but Ajax refused. The midfielder stayed professional after the deal fell through, despite missing training to try and force it. Chelsea remain interested, and have earmarked him as the man they want going forward. This is the club's view. Graham Potter, however, may have a different idea about things, and may look to other players to suit his system better. If he deems Alvarez is not the player for his system, Moises Caicedo could become an option. It will be interesting to see what Chelsea do in January and where they choose to strengthen, but it will likely be midfield. And for now, it could likely be Edson Alvarez.